Hi, welcome to 40 Fridays of Fundamental Science Experiments with Rohini. Do you know how they treat diabetic dogs, cats, or humans? By the way, diabetes is a disease where there is excess sugar or glucose in the blood, and they treat these patients by giving insulin shots, which removes the glucose from the blood. So, who first isolated insulin? It is credited to Banting and Best. Now, Banting was trying to identify or isolate insulin, and for that, he used dogs. Dogs were quite handy for many experiments in science, like Ivan Pavlov's experiment, and then for identifying the correlation between pancreas and diabetes, and also for isolation of insulin for treating diabetes. So, Banting took a lot of dogs and he tied the pancreatic ducts of the dog. Pancreatic ducts are the tubes which pass from pancreas and carry the enzymes from pancreas to the small intestine. So he tied off those ducts in dogs. Why did he tie them off? Because the moment you tie off the pancreatic ducts, the SNI or the cells that produce the digestive enzyme are degraded and only islets of Langerhans will be surviving. And he wanted to take the extract of these islets of Langerhans and see if it had anti-diabetic properties similar to insulin. So he tied up the dogs, but unfortunately 7 of the 10 dogs died, and then they had to buy black market dogs. But finally, at the end, they could successfully get one dog which had its pancreatic duct tied up and another dog with pancreas removed. The dog in which pancreas is removed will develop diabetes, and the dog in which the duct is tied up will have only islets of Langerhans. So, what they did in the dog in which the duct is tied up, they removed the pancreas 3 days after tying up the duct. And after making sure that the SNI died, they removed the pancreas, froze it, then they ground it to a paste, and then they warmed up the paste to room temperature and they injected this extract from the pancreas tied dog into the dog with no pancreas, which has diabetes. And then in the dog which received the injection, they measured the blood glucose levels every 30 minutes. And they saw that the blood glucose levels dropped from 0.2% to 0.12%. That means it decreased. The glucose in the blood was removed. So they said it had anti-diabetic properties. Of course, that dog which received the insulin injection also died the next morning. But finally, they identified that the extract from islets of Langerhans, back then it was called iletin, had anti-diabetic properties and could be used to cure diabetics. Very painful procedure and very sad experiment when we look at the perspective of dogs. But then today, because of insulin isolation, many dogs, cats, and humans can have a near normal life in spite of having diabetes. All is well that ends well. Thank you.